Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a Great League team that I upgraded for the Open Auto League. I made a team for the Great League with her Kommo-o, the Say-Swap of Feraligator, as well as the Skarmory in the back, and we can actually kind of upgrade this exactly for the Auto League. We're going to have here in the lead our Kommo-o this time around, of course the evolution. We can still use the Feraligator and we can use the XL variant of the Skarmory on. This team was insanely overpowered. I went 9-1 with this team. I actually got my elo reveal as well. I don't know if you're gonna see this here today, most likely not, most likely in the next episode, but I actually got really high elo as well because the last few days I was destroying everyone with every team that I played, which was like absolutely wild. So definitely very happy with my elo reveal that you're going to see most likely in the next episode. But yeah, this team was absolutely amazing. Would really recommend you to try it out if you have the Pokemon. If you don't have a Skarmory, which I feel like is the most difficult one to get from this team, go ahead and try something like Empoleon or like kind of Steel type, like Registeel if you have one build. This would also kind of work out, but this team was absolutely amazing. And also Brick Break Kommo-o was way better than I expected here. First game, of course, we're going to be able to wall the Gliscor with the Skarmory and we can move on to the next one. Kind of funny to wall a Gliscor, by the way, with a Skarmory because, of course, there's something that you see in the Great League quite often with the Gligar getting walled by the Skarmory. But here, we will see the opponent having a Giratina. I decided to swap out here because the opponent is running the fast move of Dragon Breath. And I know that this matchup is going to be way better later on for me and my Skarmory. So here, I'm going to make a very smart play as well. The opponent went for their own Frenzy Plant, but I know they will be able to go for a bait first and still going to be able to reach an Ice Beam in time. And this is exactly what we're going to do here. This is going to connect now. Let's see if we're going to actually knock them out. Yes, we can knock them out and we can move on to the next matchup, which is going to be this Giratina again. And Giratina is not going to have a great time against our Skarmory. Dragon Breath is going to be resisted, and so we can just take the move. Shadow Sneak is barely doing any damage. And honestly, Skarmory was a lot of fun to play. Really good Pokemon right now. Steel Wing Skarmory. Highly recommend you this Pokemon for sure. But yeah, we're going to be able to go for the full farm run against the opponent now as well. We don't really care too much about the Shadow Sneak coming through, and we will see that they're going to have a Tentacruel in the back. I kind of misplay this one. I sure went for the Brave Bird and then swapped out, but I didn't, so that was definitely a little bit of a mistake by me, but it is still going to be okay for us as we can let this move go through. This is just going to be a Scald. This was way too early for a Blizzard. They're going to get the attack drop, which is still kind of bugged for whatever reason, and we can go for our own charge move, which the opponent is going to, yeah, basically shield up, which I found kind of interesting because it was kind of unnecessary. Of course, Brave Bird does more damage, and so we're going to be able to farm them down and win this game. Next opponent, we're going to have a Tentacruel in the lead, which is going to be okay for us as well. You see, by the way, every single match that I did with this team, that's why the video is also close to 18 minutes, because, yeah, we actually only did like 10 battles with this team, but Auto League just takes a little bit longer. We're going to see here that I swap out perfectly into my Feraligator onto the Blizzard, which is going to be a resisted move, and so we were able to catch a very hard-hitting move on our Feraligator, which is great. We see the opponent going into their own Guzzlord, and we can still survive the move and still go for the Ice Beam. This is literally perfect for us as the opponent is going to let this move go through. I'm gonna decide to go into my Skarmory, just gonna go for the full farm down, getting a ton of energy here. It's going to be great for me later on as well. We know that the Tentacruel cannot really come into us as well because the fast move is double resisted, but let's see what they want to bring in. It's actually going to be the Tentacruel, and so I'm just gonna go for the Brave Bird, either get the shield or the knockout. I will take the shield here, and I can still go for some Dragon Claw damage, but of course, if the opponent has something in the back where Brick Break is going to be neutral, for example, we're going to be able to, yeah, basically force the defense drop against them, which is going to be great. Here we're going to get the attack drop, and it's going to be a Greedent, which is amazing for us as we can use a shield now. This is going to be a Body Slam, and I will try to go for those Brick Breaks now to drop the opponent's defense as well. Let's see, the opponent is going to let this move go through, gonna get the defense drop. It still doesn't show the text for it for whatever reason, but we will be able to take another Body Slam. I can still go for another Brick Break, get another defense drop, and also most likely the shield from the opponent as I can swap out. But look at the damage output of our Skarmory. It is absolutely wild how much damage we can do now thanks to the Brick Break debuffs, and we can easily knock them out here as well. No move can knock me out, and so we can move on into the next game. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have a very bad lead force. It's going to be the Cresselia. You want to swap out immediately here because you need to get the Shadow Claw damage onto them. This matchup is not really ideal, but you can still actually kind of win this one in the 2 shield scenario, I think. Like, you're not going to be able to win this here in the 0 shields for sure because the opponent can take 2 Hydro Cannons, but they decide to swap out anyway into the Pidgeot, allowing us to go for the super effective Ice Beam, doing a lot of damage. Like, look at this. The opponent is going to be forced to go for a Brave Bird here as well. I thought of using a shield, but I was not sure if I would have still been able to farm them down when they were debuffed, but I will take this, especially as the opponent should be still locked into this matchup here with the Cresselia, allowing me to get a ton of energy with my Skarmory, as Skarmory is going to be able to resist everything the opponent has here. Boom Blast is coming through, not doing really any damage, and so we can try to go for a Sky Attack against the opponent, which is going to go unshielded as well as I would expect exactly, and so, yeah, the opponent can go for a charge move, doesn't do anything against us either. Grass Knot especially is not going to do anything, and they're going to have an obstacle in the back. I wait until they go for their own charge move, and now I should actually be able to just go for a Brave Bird if I am smart. I am smart luckily here, and so this Brave Bird is either getting shielded or get a ton of damage onto them. We're going to get the shield totally fine because now we can go for the Brick Break spam. Being double super effective is going to be amazing for us, and as long as you're going to get them low, we're going to be fine late on as well. I don't know why I went for 2 fast moves here. I should have just went for 1. Gave the opponent a free fast move that was not really ideal, but it does not really matter. We can still take a move. If the opponent wants to swap out into the Cresselia, they can do, but I think they're still locked into this matchup anyway. Dragon Claw is going to be hopefully enough to knock them out. It is, and so Cresselia has nowhere to go, and we can easily win this one as well. Next opponent, another Tentacruel in the lead, is going to be a little bit of a trickier one, but let's see what we can do about it. We can still try to stay in. The opponent is going to have to take a Dragon Claw. It is a fairly neutral matchup, but you kind of want to swap out eventually here, I would say, because your backline is weak against Electric-type Pokemon, so like what you kind of have to do is you have to try to swap out into your Feraligatr eventually. Here we sadly got the attack drop onto us, which is really unfortunate because now this Ice Beam is not going to do as much damage, but the opponent still uses a shield, which is kind of okay for us, so maybe the attack drop did not really matter at all. The Dragon Claw is coming through. We can still hit the Hydro Cannon, which is going to do some damage, but again, it's not going to be the craziest damage no matter what. And so we can swap out into our Skarmory. I think like 1 Sky Attack and a little bit of fast move pressure should be enough to knock them out. Brutal Swing is coming through, not doing too much damage, and honestly, I wanted to go for the Sky Attack here, looking if this is going to be able to knock them out, but I think if we didn't get the attack drop, this might have been enough to knock them out, but now we can actually catch a Brutal Swing onto our Kommo-o. A little bit risky if they're going to have a hard answer in the back, which they don't, as they swap out into the Tentacruel, allowing us to go for another charge move here. Dragon Claw is coming through, and I can go for the full farm now before they even get to a charge move, and this is huge. Let's see what they have in the back here. They're going to decide to go into their Greedent, and so we can go for the Brick Break spam again, getting up here the shield from the opponent, which is great. And so now the next Brick Break is going to do even more damage. I just decided to shield here. I could also let the move go through, but I just want to go for another Brick Break as soon as possible, as this would do a ton of damage. The opponent goes for another Body Slam here, and they decide to swap out into the Guzzlord. Did not work out at all for them. I can go for another Brick Break, drop the defense from the opponent again while doing some decent damage as well here, and they have nowhere to go as another Dragon Claw is coming through, and Kommo-o is just destroying them so hard here. Let's move on to the next opponent. This is not the lead that I really wanted to see here, to be fair, but we have to swap out and we get completely hardwalled again. Like, there is not a lot that I can do about this matchup here, as the opponent has the perfect answers for my team right now. I'm forced to let this move go through. There's no real reason for me to use a shield. At least I got, yeah, the advantage of 1 shield, which is kind of nice, and I get out the electric type for my Skarmory in the back. But basically, at this point, Skarmory is forced to sweep the entire opponent's team, which is very, very tough, and yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for us in general. We can still go for a Dragon Claw here, and we can go for the full farm down, or yeah, we can get the knockout there, but I'm forced to swap out now, and the opponent has 2 fairy types, so Kommo-o had nowhere to go there in general, other than, of course, trying to knock out the Galvantula, but yeah, we're going to have to deal now with the Tapu Fini and also the Ninetales with our Skarmory, which is a little bit annoying. I thought of going for a Brave Bird here, should have most likely went for it, but I didn't, and so the opponent still gets to another serve. And my play here is to try to catch the move, which might be a good play for me. But this game is just like, it is a hard counter game. Like, you have to say, it's like literally kind of nowhere where I can really go. I can actually catch the move here, which is really important. It is going to be that serve, but sadly the opponent is not actually running Charm, which would have been way better for us if they would be running Charm. But no, they're running Powder Snow, so they get more farm basically here as well against us. And so if we didn't actually have a Brick Break, but rather I had the Close Combat, I think I had actually a way better chance of winning this game. But sadly, the opponent is going to be able to go ahead and go for another charge move here, and they're going to get me insanely low. I can still try to knock them out, but it does not really work out, and so this is going to be the only loss that I had. As I said in the beginning, it's a 9-1 on DC every battle, and it was a complete hard wall, which is kind of wild, so let's move on to the next one. Next opponent, we're going to have here the Sandslash. You kind of want to stay in and go for 3 fast moves anyway, because if you go for 3 fast moves and you swap out, you have alignment of the fast moves again for Feraligatr, so you're always going to sneak one in when the opponent tries to swap out, or like when the opponent tries to go for their own charge move there, which is going to be great. And also, you're going to store some energy for later, because of course a Brick Break against the Sandslash would be most likely one-shotting, so as long as we're going to get some energy, we're going to be fine. Here the opponent goes into their Feraligatr, and they actually used a shield as well as they went for the Hydro Cannon. I can decide to go into my Kommo-o, and I decided to use a shield here just in case they're going to have Ice Beam. They are actually running Crunch, which Crunch does make sense in the Great League in my opinion. It does not make any sense at all in the Ultra League in my opinion, so please don't go for Crunch here. Like, it's a different meta. Like, I feel like Crunch is so wasted in this current meta here, but I guess for Jellicent if you want to counter Jellicent, but still, like, it's not really ideal. Here I decided to go for the Brick Break. Seems a little bit silly, is most likely a little bit silly, but it is allowing us to get more damage now with Dragon Claw and the Dragon Tail, as you're gonna see, and I think it was actually very beneficial for me to go for the Brick Break, as the defense drop is going to help us quite a bit here, getting them insanely low. I am not going to use a shield. I'm just going to hope that my Skarmory is going to be enough to knock them out here, but it's going to be a tough one as I'm deciding to use a shield against the opponent. Might be a Shadow Ball, it is a Shadow Ball, but they're still going to have the Sandslash, and Skarmory is going to be in a disadvantage in terms of the shield usage here, and also it is not really the greatest matchup for us either, as our charge was going to be resisted while the opponent was only going to do neutral damage. But as you're going to see here, we're still going to have a little bit of a chance, at least as the opponent goes for another Ice Punch. This is going to do a ton of damage, but I can overfarm by a little bit as well. Go for the Sky Attack. Is this enough to knock them out? Let's see if it's going to be enough here. It is enough, and we can still try to reach another charge move in time, and we can, and so Skarmory is going to be able to still sweep this game and win this with just a few HP left. Moving on to the next one, we're going to have a great lead. This time around, we're going to have the electric type in the lead here with the Garvantula. We can basically always sneak in an extra fast move here, which is kind of great as well. But sadly, the opponent is going to be able, with a lunge especially, to be able to basically still get to another charge move in time. I still always going to be able to win the lead matchup, which is kind of great. But yeah, I cannot. I mean, I could have went for the charge move here. Maybe this would have been a smarter play to go for the Dragon Claw instead of going for the full farm down. Maybe this would have been a play. Here I decided to go into the Feraligatr anyway, because I got rid of one of the hardest answers to Feraligatr already, and with a little bit of energy advantage, as you're going to see as well, this Pokemon is just great against everything in the meta. Honestly, like, Feraligatr is, in my opinion, S+ for the Ultra League. I'm most likely going to make a tier list as well again. I feel like Feraligatr for the Ultra League is literally so good, and here you see here already why. This Pokemon was already able to completely destroy that Mandibuzz as well, as I can let this next move go through. It's going to be just the Aerial Ace as well, which allows me to survive some more moves, and I can just go for the Hydro Cannon spam. Going to be a little bit better for us. The opponent decides to use a shield, and we are not gonna get to another one because I decide to let this move go through. I know that my Skarmory is going to be great in this matchup as well, and I have a shield advantage, which is going to be very good for whatever is lurking in the back. I still have some energy on my Kommo-o as well, which is going to be great, especially if I can hit some Brick Breaks against whatever they have in the back. And if I let this move go through, Brick Break cannot basically be changed anymore, so Brick Break is always going to come through, but the opponent actually is going to have Giratina here, which is a little bit tricky. I can go for the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to be able to do some damage, and we will see here as well. I can use a shield. Shield is coming up. This is going to be getting, yeah, basically we're going to be able to go for another Dragon Claw here, which is gonna hopefully connect against the opponent, but they decide to use a shield, and so we are going to go down here. Sadly, Skarmory is coming in. We can still go for the Sky Attack, and this is going to be enough to knock them out for sure. Moving on to the next opponent, we're going to encounter here a Zapdos in the lead. This is going to be a very interesting matchup because they really don't want to have this Pokemon against your backline. So what we decide to do here is we're just going to stay in and just use our shields. Like, we don't really care too much on which Pokemon you use the shields here, ideally most likely on the Feraligatr, but Kommo-o is still going to appreciate those shields as well. Drill Peck would be a little bit too strong, but we can just decide to use a shield here and go for the full farm down, leaving this matchup with a ton of energy, but they decide to go for the Annihilate swap in here. I can still go for a charge move, and with this I swap out into my Feraligatr because I know I can still outspeed them before they can get to a Shadow Ball. They're forced to use a shield here in order to not get knocked out, and so at least I'm going to be able to get some damage onto them, plus I will be able to get rid of all their energy as the Shadow Ball is going to knock us out. But I can go back into my Skarmory. I think they're still going to get to another Shadow Ball though, because yeah, the Annihilate still had their shield, and now yeah, the Shadow Ball is going to hurt quite a bit, but I can still go up to 1 Brave Bird. Let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be the opponent's, maybe Zapdos again? No, it's going to be the opponent's Feraligatr. And so I can go for the big Brave Bird, doing a ton of damage and swap out and get some more damage onto them. But it's still going to be crazy close, because if this is going to be an Ice Beam, we're going to maybe go down. But they are running Crunch again. I don't know why you're running Crunch. I don't think Crunch is ideal. I think Ice Beam is way better for this matchup, but it is what it is. We can easily win this game now, and we can move on to the next one. Next opponent coming through, final one for today. We're going to have another Tentacruel in the lead. I think the 3rd Tentacruel lead for today already. Kinda mad. I decided to use a shield here, did I? I don't know if I did. No, I didn't. It's going to be just a Scald. They are not going to get the attack drop, which is kind of great for us, as this would be really changing this match up quite a bit. And now I can go for the Dragon Claw spam, and I'm totally fine with this. I can swap out now actually afterwards, which I'm mostly going to do here, as you can see as well, as we know that we can resist the moves, and they're going to have a very bad matchup for us now as the Obstagoon is coming in. Obstagoon is going to triple resist our fast move, and so they are not even in a range where I can two-shot them with a Hydro Cannon, which is kind of unfortunate. Would be really cool if like Feraligatr had like some kind of fighting type coverage move. Like, imagine you would be able to just destroy also like steel types way easier, but like this they can just let those moves go through. I decided to let this move go through as well, and I should be able to farm down before, or they get the attack buff as well. That's kind of annoying. Let's see what is coming in next. It is going to be the opponent's the opponent's Grafty actually, and I don't know if they know how much energy I have, so I decided to go for the Dragon Claw, and I actually get the shield, which is really important, and I can swap out now into my Skarmory, which of course has great coverage, and I make a huge mistake. I decided to go for a shield here. It is an Acid Spray. I thought it was a Scald. Scald would have done more damage than a Foul Play would have done, but now we are in a very tough spot. I can still go for the bait here at least, and the opponent is going to fall for it, which is kind of great. Like, Sky Attack would have done maybe 50% and definitely would have been able to survive it. Here, the opponent is actually going for the correct choice, but I decided to go for the no shield, which is also correct, because if I went for Power Punch first and then for the Foul Play, I would have went down. But like this, the opponent get boomed by a Brave Bird, and we can win the final game. This team was absolutely amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.